Scouting teaches those involved important lifelong skills. Participants perform difficult and laborious tasks. However, like any organization involving children, there is a time for both work and play. Scouting found a way to combine leisure and learning with games. Board games inspired by Scouting have been around for almost as long as Scouting itself.
Shall we play a game?
On this edition of Artifact of the Week, the game of Boy Scouts came out in 1912 or 1913 and resembles the actual progression through the levels of Scouting. Players begin as Tenderfoot Scouts and must collect merit badges to advance as a Scout. Interestingly, players cannot achieve Eagle Scout in the board game, perhaps because the Eagle Scout Award was introduced in 1911 and there was not enough time to add that element to the game. The McLaughlin brothers published the game and set a precedent for what many other games sponsored by the Boy Scouts intended to do: teach the lessons of Scouting in a fun, accessible way for kids. In 1926, the Boy Scouts Progress game was released and built on many of the same ideas as the first Boy Scout board game. Players race to the center of the board, collecting merit badges as they go. This game features the rank of Eagle Scout and continued to impress the importance of Scouting skills on players, even while seemingly relaxing. There were also games based around Cub Scouting, showing that even the youngest Scouts needed work infused with their play. The game of Cub Scouting functions in the same way as previous BSA games, but instead progressed from Bobcat up to Webelos. Scouting board games continued as basic race games until the 1980s with Scouting Trails Scout Edition. This board game introduced trivia and survival skill questions as the method for advancing through the ranks of Scouting. As players begin their journey, the questions are simple, with more difficult questions required to achieve higher rank. The game functions similarly to Trivial Pursuit. Players must answer questions from different categories to win the game. All the questions can be answered with the Boy Scout Handbook, showing again that the board game's intended to teach Scouts, not just give them time off. Even Philmont has its own board game. Philmont, the Adventure Trail Game of Survival, came out in 1987, and players use a simplified map of Philmont's backcountry as the board. Players must demonstrate adequate survival skills to move around to various camps, collecting chips for answering questions correctly. The board game provides an exciting way to experience Philmont's backcountry without ever leaving your home, or to practice your skills before a trek. Board games have been part of the Scouting experience since its inception, melding important lessons with necessary time off. There are dozens upon dozens of games about Boy Scouts. The BSA even sponsored a version of Monopoly in 2005 for the 95th anniversary of Scouting. That's all we have time for today. Join us again as we continue to take a closer look at the stories and history of the BSA in the next edition of Artifact of the Week.